A moment no one expected, Spain's future queen, Princess Leonor, brought tears to her mother's eyes. For the first time ever, Queen Letizia cried, not from duty but from pure emotion. What did Leonor say that moved an entire nation? Let's uncover the royal truth behind this unforgettable scene. Like and subscribe to Future Queen Chronicle for more daily royal update. Tears of a Queen. Princess Leonor makes Queen Letizia cry for the first time in public. Spanish royal family. Every royal family has its moments of ceremony, tradition, and restraint. But on one rare morning in Madrid, something far more human unfolded, a moment no crown could contain. She was poised, composed, every inch the heir to the Spanish throne. Yet behind her eyes, there was something else: emotion, purpose, love. Queen Letizia had watched her daughter grow, not as a monarch watching an heir, but as a mother guiding a soul. And on this day, she would see that soul shine, and weep for it. For years, Princess Leonor trained under scrutiny. Her words rehearsed, her gestures measured. Spain's press watched her every step, waiting for the moment she would stumble or soar. The event was historic, a milestone in Spain's modern monarchy. Leonor, barely 20, was set to deliver her first major speech as Princess of Asturias. It was supposed to be a moment of protocol. But it became a moment of heart. Your Majesties, distinguished guests, and to my beloved Spain, today I speak not just as your future queen, but as your daughter. The words caught the nation off guard. This wasn't a speech written for her, it was one written from her. I have learned that service is not only duty, it is love. And the first lesson of love, I learned from my mother, who taught me that strength can be gentle. For the first time, Queen Letizia's royal composure began to tremble. Cameras flashed, the Queen turned slightly, but not fast enough to hide the tears forming. Stand here because you believed in me, because every time the world doubted, you whispered, be brave, Leonor. And I promise you, Mama, I will be. And in that silence, Spain felt it, the unspoken heartbeat between a mother and her daughter. A queen, and the future she created. It wasn't long before emotion spread through the hall like a wave. Ministers bowed their heads. Royal guards stood frozen. Even King Felipe, stoic and proud, pressed his lips together, holding back a smile. But one photo captured the exact second: Queen Letizia, overcome, eyes shimmering, tears slipping down her cheek. Spain had seen her as strong, elegant, untouchable. Now, for the first time, they saw her human. Did you see that? The Queen cried. Get that frame. That's the front page tomorrow. And they were right. Within minutes, that single tear became a symbol of motherhood, monarchy, and modern Spain. Queen Letizia breaks down in public for the first time, moved by Princess Leonor's emotional tribute. It's rare to see a monarch display such raw emotion. But this was history. The passing of strength from one generation to the next. Within hours, #tears of a queen trended across Europe. Videos flooded TikTok, showing the Queen wiping her tears as her daughter smiled gently from the podium. That moment showed they're not just royals, they're family. Leonor's speech hit harder than any political address. It was pure. Spain hadn't seen its royal family this beloved in years. And as the applause echoed through the hall, Leonor realized she had done something no law, no title, no crown could do: she had moved a nation. But while Spain celebrated the tears of a queen, not everyone in the palace saw it as a victory. Behind the walls of Zarzuela Palace, whispers began to spread: had Leonor's emotion crossed the line between royal grace and public vulnerability? Soft, somber strings fade in. Aerial shot of Madrid's skyline. Newspapers roll off the press, headlines flashing: Queen Letizia in tears, a moment Spain will never forget. By dawn the next morning, the image had circled the globe. The Queen of Spain, her face streaked with tears, her daughter radiant and calm beside her. It was beautiful, it was emotional, but inside the palace walls, it was complicated. The royal corridors, quiet except for faint echoes of footsteps. Royal life, as graceful as it looks, breathes under rules, old, strict, and spoken. Rule 1, a monarch may feel, but never show. And Letizia had just broken it. Letizia said, "They've printed it everywhere, Felipe. Every page, every photo." King Felipe enters, composed yet thoughtful. Felipe said. They'll talk, yes. But they'll talk with pride, Letizia. You showed them you're human, and that makes us stronger. The king's words were kind, but behind his calm, he knew the crown's advisors would not share his sentiment. Palace advisors murmuring in the next room, the chief of protocol flips through tabloids. It was too emotional, too spontaneous. The monarchy must appear steady, not sentimental. For the court, emotion was danger, unpredictability in a world that demands control. Meanwhile, Leonor walks the palace garden, earbuds in, scrolling through messages on her phone. But Leonor wasn't thinking about the headlines. She was thinking about her mother. Leonor stops, smiles softly at a photo of Letizia wiping a tear. Leonor whispering, I just wanted her to know I see her. Not the queen, my mother. TV host surprisingly said. Never before has Queen Letizia shown this side of herself. It's a new era, an emotional monarchy. Some call it weakness. Others say it's authenticity. Either way, the public is obsessed. For days, social feeds flooded with the Queen's tearful image. Memes, tributes, even fan edits with soft music and glowing filters. British commentator whispered, Letizia has long been admired for her poise. Seeing her cry, that's a glimpse behind the palace curtain. It resonates across Europe. Monarchies are humanizing, and Spain just led the way. But for all the love online, tension brewed in the quiet spaces of Madrid's high society. Some whispered that emotion made the crown fragile. Others, that Leonor had stolen the spotlight too soon. Letizia said, You spoke beautifully yesterday. You meant every word, didn't you? Leonor smiling, I did. I just wanted them to see you the way I do. Letizia cried, You don't know what that moment did to me, Leonor. I've stood before crowds for decades, speeches, ceremonies, all of it rehearsed. But when you said those words, everything else disappeared. Leonor said softly, You cried. Letizia laughs faintly, Yes. And for a queen, that's not supposed to happen. Leonor said, Maybe it should. That night, there were no titles, no crown, no protocol. Just a mother and daughter, bound by the same heart that carries both love and duty. Letizia whispering, Whatever they say tomorrow, remember this, never let the world decide what it's right to feel. We need to manage the narrative. If emotion becomes the headline, authority weakens. But the people loved it. The ratings, the coverage, all positive. Positive today, dangerous tomorrow. The monarchy's internal struggle wasn't about tears, it was about image. The fine line between authenticity and vulnerability. King Felipe entered and said, Enough. Spain saw a mother proud of her daughter. That's all the story needs to be. For the moment, the storm was contained, but only just. Outside, the media still buzzed, and the world still watched the queen who cried. She showed us that strength and emotion can exist together. That's what we need in our leaders. I've seen many monarchs, but this one feels closer to the people. Across Spain, something shifted. The monarchy, often seen as distant, felt suddenly alive again. And at the center of it all stood Leonor, the young princess who dared to speak from her heart. Leonor said, I didn't mean to make her cry, but maybe it was time she did. But as light always brings shadow, that single tear would soon ripple far beyond Madrid. Into politics, into tabloids, into the private life of Spain's most watched family. Royal emotions sparked debate. Too much heart. The queen who cried. The tears that touched hearts were about to test loyalties. Within 48 hours, Spain's proudest moment had become its fiercest argument. What began as a daughter's tribute was now a storm of opinion, and no one could silence it. Is this the image of a modern queen, or a break from royal discipline? It's authenticity, the monarchy needs it. People want heart, not marble statues. Across Europe, the debate raged. Every palace, every commentator weighed in, not just on the tears, but on what they meant. British commentator comments. Leonor reminds us of Diana's legacy, compassion in a crown. Danish reporter said, In Denmark, we call that courage. The Spanish crown just stepped into a new century. Yet even admiration comes with shadows. The more global the praise, the greater the pressure back home. They're comparing her to Diana now. That's dangerous. Or it's destiny. People love her. Inside the palace, every smile became strategy, every tear a talking point. Felipe asked. Still awake, Letizia said. They've turned it into theater. My tears are now political. Felipe said. That's the burden of visibility. But Leonor's sincerity changed something, you can't unmake that. He sits beside her, the firelight flickers on their faces. Letizia softly said, I wanted her to shine, not for me to become the story. Felipe said, then let the story show love. Spain hasn't seen that in years. Even kings understand, love can be more revolutionary than power. For the first time, Leonor faced the weight of fame not as a princess but as a person. Leonor whispering, they say I made her weak. They don't know her strengths. In that simple line, the queen reminded her daughter what mattered, connection over ceremony. Letizia asked, promise me something, Leonor. Never speak for applause. Speak for truth. Leonor asked, even when it hurts. Letizia answers, especially then. It was a private dinner yet, somehow, it carried more weight than any royal decree. What the palace feared became its salvation. The people didn't see weakness, they saw themselves. Young girl whispers, Gracias, Leonor. You made my mother cry too in a good way. Messages poured in, thousands of letters to the royal house, thanking them for feeling. Inside the communications office, a staffer said, we can't even open them all. Everyone says the same thing, thank you for being real. A modern monarchy had just been born, not from coronations but from connection. Letizia said, look, they're already waiting. Cameras, crowds, expectations. Leonor said, and still, the sun rises. Letizia smiling said, that's what queens do too. For once, no speech was needed. The world had heard enough words. It had seen a tear, and through it, a truth, that monarchy survives only when it remembers it's made of people. But even as the storm calmed, a new tide began to rise, one that would test Leonor's resolve, and the very idea of what a future queen should. The days after the storm brought calm, not silence but understanding. Spain had seen a crown bend without breaking. And somewhere between duty and heart, the young princess began to find her voice. Strength is not never crying. It's knowing when to let the world see your tears, and when to smile through them. Sophia cheerfully said, they're waiting for you downstairs. Leonor said, for once, let them wait. Beneath the crown, she was still a teenager. But her words had already reshaped the world around her. For Queen Letizia, the moment of tears had left a mark. Not of regret, but of truth. Letizia quietly said, they'll remember the tears. I just hope they remember why. Because it wasn't weakness that moved her, it was love, the kind that makes a mother proud, and a queen human. The headlines faded, as they always do. But the image, a mother's tears for her daughter, lingered in the hearts of millions. Older woman watching said, we needed that. After everything, we needed to feel something real. Young student said, Leonor made the monarchy cool again. For once, the crown didn't divide. It united. Leonor speaking to the crowd said, to the future I will one day serve. I don't yet know the kind of queen I will become. But I know this, I will not hide from feeling. I will not fear tears. Because a crown may rest on my head, but my heart belongs to Spain. In that box, sealed away from the noise of politics and power, was the soul of a monarch still in the making. Letizia said, one day, this will all be yours, the duty, the honor, the eyes watching every move. Leonor said, and the love, too. Letizia smiling said, especially the love. A tear had begun this journey. But love would carry it forward. And so ended the day the queen cried, and Spain fell in love again with its future. But the world never sleeps on royalty. Because behind every moment of heart, comes a test of power. Next, on Future Queen. Princess Leonor steps onto the world stage, diplomacy, danger, and destiny collide. Will the girl who moved Spain, now move the world? Because every crown is forged in tears, and tested by time.